welcome to the second part of our chapter 1 of science, matter in our surroundings. The topic is change of state. Matter can exist in three states: solid, liquid, and gas. Solid, liquid, and gas, as well as they are interchangeable. Means solid can be changed into liquid, and the liquid state can be changed into gaseous state. When we supply heat to solid substance, it changes into liquid. The process involved in this is known as fusion, or you can say melting. And further, when the liquid is heated, it changes into gaseous state. The process involved in the change of liquid state into gaseous state is known as boiling. And it is reversible also. When we cool gas, it changes again into liquid. The process by which it changes into liquid, it is known as condensation. And further, when the liquid is cooled again, it changes into solid. That process involved in it is known as freezing. In this way, the three states of matter, that is solid, liquid, and gas, are interchangeable. Such as an example, whenever we supply heat to ice, it changes into water. And when further water is heated, it changes into vapor. And when vapor is cooled, it changes again into water. And when water is cooled, it again changes into ice. In this way, with the help of this example, it may be clear that all the three forms of matter are interchangeable. That is, solid changes into liquid and liquid changes into gas. Again, reversible in the reverse order, gas changes into liquid and liquid changes into solid. And the process involved in this total process are fusion, that is melting, again boiling, then condensation and freezing. Another one thing is that some matters are there which skip the liquid state, such as camphor and iodine, as well as ammonium chloride also. That process is known as sublimation. There are some matters which changes directly into gaseous state or vapor state whenever heat is supplied to it. From solid state, they change it into vapor state. This process is known as sublimation. And the example for the sublimation is camphor and iodine. Effect of change in temperature. The temperature, when increased, it also affects the state of matter. Whenever a solid is heated, the kinetic energy of the particles of the solid increases and it overcomes the force of attraction between the particles and it changes into liquid. Increase in temperature changes the solid into liquid. The reason behind it is that whenever a solid is heated, the force of attraction between the particles of the solid decreases as the particles gains kinetic energy and the particle starts moving. In this way, the solid changes into liquid. The temperature at which a solid changes into liquid, that particular temperature is known as melting point. Such as ice. When we supply a little bit heat to ice or it is kept in room temperature, it changes into liquid. The melting point of ice is 0 degree Celsius or 273 Kelvin. The process of melting is also known as fusion. Similarly, the change of pressure also affects the state of matters. If the pressure is increased or decreased, it changes the state of matter. I would like to explain this. Applying pressure or increasing pressure, if we decrease the temperature, the solid carbon dioxide, it changes into directly vapor. Means solid carbon dioxide is stored under high pressure, but when the pressure is decreased, the solid carbon dioxide converts into gas. That is the reason why solid carbon dioxide is called dry ice. This is an example of the effect of change of pressure on a state of matter. Some important terms are related to change of state, in which the first one is latent heat. Whenever a solid changes into liquid at a particular temperature, such as ice when changes into liquid at 0 degrees Celsius, the ice also remains at 0 degrees Celsius, and the water, which is the melted form of the ice, also remains at 0 degrees Celsius. The temperature never changes, but the ice receives an amount of heat from the atmosphere and changes into liquid. That hidden heat which changes the solid ice into liquid is called latent heat. So, the latent heat is the hidden heat which breaks the force of attraction between the particles during the change of state. It is the hidden amount of heat which changes the solid into liquid or liquid into gas without change in temperature. The temperature remains constant at that state. That hidden amount of heat is known as latent heat. Next one is fusion. As I have stated earlier, the change of state of solid into liquid is called melting. The melting is also known as fusion. It is same. The change of solid into liquid is also called fusion. The next one is vaporization. The change of liquid into gas at its boiling point. Whenever a liquid changes into gas at its boiling point, that phenomenon is known as vaporization. That phenomenon is called vaporization. And evaporation is a process which takes at every temperature. It is also the same thing when a liquid changes into vapor, but at any temperature. That is known as evaporation. And vaporization takes place at a particular temperature, means at the boiling point of the liquid. This is the difference between vaporization and evaporation. The rate of evaporation depends upon some factors. The first one is open surface area. The rate of evaporation increases with the increase in the open surface area. I would like to give an example. Whenever we take tea, if the tea is taken in a cup, its open surface area is very less. It takes times to cool. But if the same tea is taken in a desk, it becomes cooler faster. Why? The reason is that the open surface area in the disk is greater than the cup. That's why it becomes cooler than the cup. In this way, we can say the rate of evaporation increases with the increase in the surface area. The second one, increase in temperature. If we increase the temperature of the liquid, the rate of evaporation also increases. The temperature is low, the rate of evaporation is also low. And if the temperature is high, the rate of evaporation is also greater. Third one, it depends upon the humidity present in the air. Humidity is the amount of water present in the air. If the humidity in the air is more, the rate of evaporation decreases, because already there is amount of water in the air. So it can't absorb more water from the liquid. Fourth one is, it depends upon the speed of wind. The speed of wind also affects the rate of evaporation. If the speed of wind is greater, the rate of evaporation is also high. If the speed of wind is less, the rate of evaporation also becomes less. Evaporation causes cooling. It is the effect of evaporation. I would like to give few examples on the topic of evaporation causes cooling. In summer season, generally we sweat, and in that condition, when we come below the fan, we feel cool. Reason is evaporation, because the sweat which is on our body, it starts evaporating and it absorbs the temperature from our body and it changes into vapor. In this way, we feel cool. Similarly, the other example, the water kept in earthen pots are also cooler. The reason is evaporation. The earthen pot has small pores on its surface, and the water percolates through the pores towards the outer surface of the earthen pot. As the If the humidity in the air is less, then the water which remains on the surface of the earthen pot, it starts evaporating. During evaporation or evaporating of the surface water of the earthen pot, it takes the temperature of the water and makes the water cool. Thus, the water inside the earthen pot becomes cooler. Now, the difference between boiling and evaporation. Boiling is a bulk process. It takes throughout the liquid, but at a particular temperature. And that temperature is known as boiling point. Means boiling is a process which takes at boiling point and the liquid changes into vapor. In comparison of boiling, evaporation is a surface phenomenon because it does not take place throughout the liquid. It just takes place on the surface. It just takes place on the surface. And it takes place at room temperature, or you can say at any temperature. Next topic is unit of temperature. In the previous classes, you have already studied about Celsius and Fahrenheit scale. These are the two temperatures which you have already heard in your previous classes. And there is a relation between also degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit. That is C by 5 is equals to F minus 32 by 9. In this chapter, the absolute unit of temperature is defined as Kelvin. And the relation between degree Celsius and Kelvin is as temperature in Kelvin is always equals to temperature in degree Celsius plus 273 degree. Suppose you have to convert 23 degrees Celsius into Kelvin. That will be equal to 23 plus 273, which is equals to 3 plus 3 6, 7 plus 2 9, 296 Kelvin. The sign of degree is not given in the Kelvin scale, and this Kelvin scale is the absolute scale of temperature. Friends, I hope that I have covered all the topics of this lesson, and I hope that you should follow your exercise book, and after reading it, you can complete the question answers, in-text question answers, as well as the exercise question answers. If you have or feel any problem in solving those questions, you can mention in the comment box, or you can contact us in the given description below.